Chapter 1411, Green Claw Ghost-Winged Lion. Chapter 1411, Green Claw Ghost-Winged Lion. Translator. Atlas Studios. Editor. Atlas Studios. This was a bronze hall. At the center of the hall, there was a metallic lamp hanging on a crane neck. The neck was long and curvy. At the tip of its beak, there was a flame that was the size of a peach. This flame shone over the entire hall. The flame was weak, the corners of the bronze hall were still covered in darkness. A thin young Gu master was standing on a huge concrete tile of the palace. There was a huge pillar beside him, it was red and thick. To encircle it, 3 grown men would need to stretch their arms out. When the light shined, the pillar blocked a huge portion of it. The young Gu master's body was half concealed in darkness and shadows. It was Han Li. Han Li was currently covered in sweat. He was uncertain in his heart. I was too overconfident. This senior Zhen Yuan Zi might be a righteous path Gu immortal, but someone like me has no qualifications to take his true inheritance. I could get to this point after exerting all my energy. Some of the steps were through pure luck. Han Li had gone through a lot. He was clear about the danger of this bronze hall. Thinking about it, he felt great lingering fear. Actually, righteous path inheritances were usually not dangerous. Demonic path was the one with vicious setups and schemes. Although Zhen Yuan Zi's inheritance test had its dangers, they were nothing of concern for Gu immortals. But for the Gu master Han Li, it was too dangerous. Han Li was someone with great luck, and because his luck was connected to Fang Yuan, he had endless fortuitous encounters. He had rank 4 cultivation level now. Such cultivation speed, at this age without any Gu immortals helping him, was really rare. Han Li stood on the spot. He did not take a step ahead. He tried to turn around and look at the path he had walked on. He wanted to retreat. This Zhen Yuan Zi's Gu immortal true inheritance was too high level for him. Even though it was alluring, Han Li had already woken up and faced reality. He thought for a while before moving his right leg towards the back. At the next moment, his field of vision changed. I went ahead instead. Han Li looked around, his expression turning pale. He found that the red pillar was far behind him. He had advanced by more than 10 steps ahead. He had become much closer to that metallic crane neck lamp now. As long as he can get there, Han Li would be able to inherit Zhen Yuan Zi's true inheritance. But right now, Han Li had already decided on retreating. His advancement was just because of pure chance. He had accidentally done it. His true intention was to leave the place, but he actually went forward instead. It was obvious that if he wanted to advance and chose other directions to move, the result would be disastrous. Han Li as a lone cultivator had shallow foundations in formation path. He was nearly clueless. To put it nicely, he was an unschooled cultivator with just some cheap tricks. He could get here because of his intelligence, his calm decisions, and pure luck. Out of these elements, luck was the most prominent aspect. And this made Han Li increasingly less confident. Because luck was not dependable. If a logical person does things solely based on luck, that was just gambling. Sigh. I am betting my life now. It seems that moving back towards the right is safer. Han Li observed. At this point, he was clueless. He was moving based on feelings. So he moved back. Swoosh. His field of vision changed again. The result was shocking, because his advancement was even greater now. He was dozens of steps ahead. The metallic crane neck lamp that represented success was very close to him now. Han Li could barely touch it with his arms outstretched now. Of course, he was still a small distance from success. And this tiny distance meant everything. Han Li hesitated. Facing this situation, he was sure to waver. After all, success was right in front of him. There was just one step left. But is this really correct? Han Li fell into difficult contemplation. Time passed quickly, but in his perception, he felt like it was only one instant. The difficult decision made him sweat profusely. But in the end, his reason surpassed the greed in his heart. How can one blindly rely on chance in the road of cultivation? Han Li let out a breath of air, he relaxed his body, his entire mental state settled. He started to find the way to retreat. This bronze hall was just created by the formation space. It was like the palace that Fang Yuan lived in at the southern border Super Dream Realm Gu Formation. Han Li was currently at the center of the Gu Formation. However, the path of retreat was very obvious now. Even Han Li with little formation path foundation could tell. Han Li had a clear mind. Following this path of retreat, he went back and got further away from the metallic crane neck lamp. I hope my following journey is as simple and smooth as this. Han Li thought that when his field of vision changed suddenly. He was shocked to find out that he had directly appeared before the metallic crane neck lamp. What happened? Han Li could not understand. A will slowly woke up in the lamp. An old voice spoke in Han Li's head in a groggy tone, like it had just woken up. Not bad, Fated One, you were able to get past the formation and arrive before me, it shows that you are qualified to inherit the true inheritance. Han Li was extremely embarrassed. I actually wanted to leave. The voice became clearer and smoother. This was Jin Yuanzi's intention when he made the formation. When the metallic crane neck lamp is extremely close to you, any decision of moving forward is wrong. Only a Gu immortal with incredible wisdom and deep formation path attainment will understand this. The only way forward is backwards. Or perhaps those Gu immortals who had low formation path attainment but knew when to retreat, they would have a chance of getting the true inheritance because of their wise choice. Han Li understood finally, this means that I am the second type. And, aren't you Senior Jin Yuanzi's will? Of course not, I am Formation Spirit Immortal Gu. I was created by Senior Jin Yuanzi, nobody knew about me. The voice continued. Han Li did not understand, Formation Spirit. Don't you get it? Blessed lands have land spirits, grotto heavens have heavenly spirits, Gu formations naturally can have formation spirits. Why are you a Gu master? You are not a Gu immortal. Suddenly, the formation spirit shouted. I am sorry, I really am here by chance. If I am not qualified to get the true inheritance, can I leave? Han Li smiled awkwardly. The formation spirit was confused. Unbelievable, you are not a Gu immortal, how did you pass the middle steps? With just luck, how lucky must you be, oh no. Oh no. Han Li thought that the formation spirit was going to praise his luck. The formation spirit said loudly, this is really bad. Jin Yuanzi had planned to pick a Gu immortal inheritor. You do not have immortal essence, you cannot suppress the immemorial desolate beast green claw ghost winged lion under the formation. You obtained the true inheritance, this Gu formation is going to break apart, but you cannot subdue this green claw ghost winged lion, aren't you going to run? No, you can't possibly run away, right? We're finished, you're finished, to think that my new master who has just obtained the true inheritance is going to die like this. No, there must be a way. Han Li did not want to give up like this. There is no hope, the difference in strength is too great. Sigh. The formation spirit that had manifested from formation spirit Gu was very pessimistic about this. Like what it said, the Gu formation started to break apart, the entire bronze hall started to turn hollow. The lamp floated and landed on Han Li's shoulder. The true environment showed itself. This was a huge hole under the desert. Large amounts of sand started to fall. Without the immortal Gu formation support, this artificially created cave started to collapse. Han Li had nowhere to escape. Before him was a huge hill-sized green claw ghost winged lion sprawling on the ground. It was sleeping now. If he was a Gu immortal, he would be able to subdue it according to Jin Yuanzi's arrangements. Even if he could not, he could make it sleep and prevent it from troubling the inheritor. This was actually part of Jin Yuanzi's test too. The green claw ghost winged lion was an immemorial desolate beast. If the inheritor was skilled enough, they would be able to control this green claw ghost winged lion. But Han Li was not. Not just that, he might get eaten by it instead. Sand continued to fall, landing on the green claw ghost-winged lion and waking it up. Han Li attacked fiercely, but his mortal killer move landed on the green claw ghost-winged lion like a gust of harmless wind. The green claw ghost-winged lion leaped forward and opened its mouth, devouring Han Li entirely. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report chapter so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1412, Dancer Hong Yun. Chapter 1412, Dancer Hong Yun. Translator. Atlas Studios. Editor. Atlas Studios. A beautiful red cloud was flying in the sky. Green Ghost Desert is ahead. Dancer Hong Yun lay down on her red cloud as she shut her eyes in a relaxed manner. She had a curvy body and was wearing a red dancing dress with yellow threads, her belly was exposed as well as her arms and legs. There were golden jade bracelets on her wrists and ankles. On her fingers, there were many jeweled rings, blue, green, and red, enhancing one another's beauty. Her eyes had a deep gaze, her brows were thick and long, there was a faint green light in her eyes, even though they were half closed, she was still very alluring. A translucent red veil was covering half her face, her tall nose and red lips were covered by the veil, it made people have the urge to explore what was truly behind that veil. Dancer Hong Yun, she was a seductive rank 7 female Gu immortal. She was once a demonist that roamed Western Desert, but unfortunately she trifled with a righteous path rank 8 grade expert. During the critical moment, 1000 transformations ancestor saved her. Using that opportunity, Dancer Hong Yun became one of 1000 transformations ancestor's concubines. But unfortunately, she was not his type, even though she was very beautiful and sexy, her status was lower than Fairy Chui Bo in 1000 transformations ancestor's heart. Wild winds were blowing by her ears, the red cloud was soft like cotton but also very bouncy, it was very comfortable for Dancer Hong Yun to lie down on it. This was Dancer Hong Yun's signature method, immortal killer move, dancing red cloud. Even though she did not normally have a good relationship with Fairy Chui Bo, they even competed very fiercely in secret. Fairy Chui Bo was in trouble now, Dancer Hong Yun had to go rescue her using her fastest method. She was unwilling, of course, but now, there was 1000 transformations ancestors' will with her. This will was here not only to help Dancer Hong Yun, but also to supervise her. As long as this will was around, Dancer Hong Yun would need to do everything to save Fairy Chui Bo. The red cloud traveled along the way, arriving in the sky above Green Ghost Desert. Soon, the weather changed. Dark clouds started appearing. Once she entered Green Ghost Desert, dark clouds joined together and became even thicker, covering the sky entirely. Ordinary deserts were hot and open. But in Green Ghost Desert, there was barely any sunlight, it was dark and gloomy. There were many trees in this desert. Ghost-crying trees were one of the types that had the highest numbers. This ghost-crying tree was very twisted in shape and full of natural holes inside. It had deep tree bark markings, resembling the faces of crying humans. Every time the wind blew on the ghost-crying tree, it would shake slightly and emit a shrill scream or terrifying cry. Even during the day, this place was cold and dark, soul beasts roamed freely. When it was night time, cold bone-chilling winds would blow as countless ghosts wandered. Dancer Hong Yun rode on her dancing red cloud as she moved past the dark clouds with a repressed feeling. She was no longer as relaxed as before, she sat cross-legged and opened her eyes, staying vigilant at all times. Green Ghost Desert was a famous place of danger in Western Desert. It was related to a demon venerable in history. That was the famed spectral soul demon Venerable. Before spectral soul demon Venerable became a venerable, he had fought with a super clan here, he murdered all of the Gu immortals in this Western Desert Woodpath clan overlord that were here. The aftermath of the battle turned area this into Green Ghost Desert. This place seemed to be filled with the hatred and anger of the losers, they were filled with unhappiness and grief towards their horrible fate. This was an ominous land. There were a vast number of soul beasts living here. Even immemorial soul beasts were not rare. After 100,000 years, there were many Western Desert Gu immortals who died here. Dancer Fang Yuan had the guts to travel here. It was not because of her rank 7 cultivation level or battle strength, it was because she had 1,000 transformations ancestors will and rank 8 immortal Gu. And her travel route was just a corner of green ghost desert, she did not truly enter it deeply. Thus, she chose to advance like this. The cloud continued flying ahead, across the dark sky, it was very eye-catching. Howl. There was a long howl resembling a wolf's cry. A huge hill-like soul beast appeared above Dancer Fang Yuan, emerging from the deep dark clouds. This was an ancient soul beast, it thought of Dancer Fang Yuan as prey, opening its mouth and pouncing at her. Dancer Fang Yuan's pupils shrunk, she gritted her teeth and was about to strike. At this time, 1,000 transformations will spoke, let me handle it, Fang Yuan, just advance. Dancer Fang Yuan heard this and became overjoyed, she listened to him. Dancing red cloud did not stop at all, it continued forward without changing directions. The rank 8 immortal Gu activated, as a strange resonance targeted the ancient soul beast. The ancient soul beast opened its mouth, its huge body covered Dancer Fang Yuan under its shadow, but at the crucial moment, its attack stopped eerily. Next, its head exploded as a monkey jumped out, its claws turned into vines, its fur turned into grass, and from its flesh, countless crocodiles jumped out. At once, the ancient soul beast broke apart and turned into countless random things. Next, they fell from the sky, it was like a drizzle. So impressive, this is the power of rank 8 mutation immortal Gu. Looking back, Dancer Fang Yuan was filled with shock. Killing an ancient desolate beast like killing a chicken. It was too simple. Dancer Fang Yuan was aware that if she had to act personally, she would need to fight for 100 rounds to force this ancient soul beast to retreat. If she was lucky, she might be able to kill it. Once the ancient soul beast died, the ancient soul beasts near its territory became stirred up, they emerged from the dark clouds. 1,000 transformations will snorted coldly, he stopped concealing it as the rank 8 immortal Gu aura leaked out. Feeling this aura, many ancient soul beasts returned to their hiding spots in the dark clouds, they did not want to mess with this troublesome foe. Of course, a portion of the ancient soul beasts still wanted to attack Dancer Fang Yuan, they were not deterred. This was not a rank 8 Gu immortal's aura, after all, it was just a rank 8 immortal Gu. Soul beasts did not have high intelligence, but after killing all the ancient soul beasts that attacked, Dancer Fang Yuan felt relieved and increasingly relaxed. After experiencing her power, the remaining ancient soul beasts left her alone. These wild soul beasts had survival instincts, after feeling a life-threatening danger, they would choose to back off. Roar! Just as Dancer Fang Yuan relaxed her mind slightly, a loud beast roar resounded in her ears like thunder. A huge lion with gray-white ghost wings on its back pounced at her fiercely. Seeing this, Dancer Fang Yuan's heart shook as she shouted, "Oh no, this is a green claw ghost-winged lion, an immemorial desolate beast." If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know, report chapter so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1413, Rank 8 Mutation Immortal Gu. Chapter 1413, Rank 8 Mutation Immortal Gu. Translator. Atlas Studios. Editor. Atlas Studios. Green Claw Ghost Winged Lion. This lion had a huge size, it ate souls as food. Currently, this type of immemorial desolate beast was very rare. During Spectral Soul Demon Venerable's era, it was very common. In fact, back then, Green Claw Ghost-Winged Lions were a huge hurdle for Spectral Soul in his youth. After all, this immemorial desolate beast countered Soul Path. And even before Spectral Soul became a Demon Venerable, he used Soul Path as his main method. However, in the end, Spectral Soul was superior. Not only did he kill Green Claw Ghost-Winged Lions, he even excavated and obtained their innate talent. Thereafter, when Spectral Soul had rank 8 cultivation level, he often captured Green Claw Ghost Winged Lions and finally managed to create the unprecedented soul-devouring method. The Green Claw Ghost Winged Lion was very famous. When it appeared in front of dancer Fang Yuan, the latter could not help but be shocked. But at the crucial moment, 1,000 transformations will told her, "Don't worry, this lion's ghost wings are not outstanding, it is still very weak. This shows that it is not in a good condition, we can fight it." Dancer Fang Yuan heard this and calmed down instantly. She took a look. Indeed, the ghost wings of the Green Claw Ghost Winged Lion were very thin, they were rather unfitting with the Green Claw Ghost Winged Lion's huge body. Dancer Fang Yuan felt slightly ashamed, thinking, "Husband's will only has one rank 8 immortal goo and a great amount of immortal essence, he has no investigative immortal methods, but he could expose the Green Claw Ghost Winged Lion's weakness immediately. In contrast, I had the methods but was stunned and petrified, that should not have happened." As she calmed down, she rode on the dancing red cloud and flew in an arc to avoid the Green Claw Ghost Winged Lion. Soon, she pulled some distance away from it. This Green Claw Ghost Winged Lion is really not in good condition, if it was even at 30% of its prime, you would not have been able to escape. 1,000 transformations will laughed, floating out and appearing beside dancer Fang Yuan. 1,000 transformations will directed its immortal essence into the rank 8 immortal goo. The immortal goo aura suddenly became extremely dense. A mystical wave suddenly shot out, landing on the Green Claw Ghost Winged Lion. At the next moment, the Green Claw Ghost Winged Lion screeched in pain as its tail turned into a venomous python. The python had a long body, it coiled around the Green Claw Ghost Winged Lion's body and bit on its face with its venomous teeth. The Green Claw Ghost Winged Lion quickly waved its black claws towards the python's body and head. But the python was very tough, it actually went into a deadlock with the Green Claw Ghost Winged Lion. At once, the Green Claw Ghost Winged Lion flapped its wings as it moved about in the sky, fighting with the python. Dancer Fang Yuan sat on her red cloud as she rose into the sky, staring at the battle vigilantly. 1,000 transformations was beside her, using that mysterious rank 8 immortal goo on the Green Claw Ghost Winged Lion continuously. With the mystical wave, soon, on the fur of the Green Claw Ghost Winged Lion, tree buds started growing. These were the ghost crying trees buds. The roots of the ghost crying trees started to grow in the flesh of the Green Claw Ghost Winged Lion, absorbing nutrients. The Green Claw Ghost Winged Lion screeched in pain, it went berserk as it smashed the buds growing on its face and also destroyed the head of the python. Even though the python's body was still coiled around the Green Claw Ghost Winged Lion, it had thoroughly died with no strength remaining. The Green Claw Ghost Winged Lion was in a terrible state, its injuries were severe now. This is 1,000 transformation signature immortal goo, mutation. It can mutate everything, the Green Claw Ghost Winged Lion's fur and tail became trees and python respectively. The Green Claw Ghost Winged Lion destroyed them, but it was actually damaging itself since they had the same origin. Dancer Fang Yuan watched the battle as her heart shook, even though she had some understanding towards mutation immortal goo, after seeing this battle personally, she was still deeply impacted. 1,000 transformations will said solemnly, as expected, this Green Claw Ghost Winged Lion is not normal, it has deep injuries in its body, it only has ancient desolate level battle strength, and its ghost wings are useless. Strange, it should not lack food inside Green Ghost Dessert. Even though he was suspicious, 1,000 transformations will did not stop attacking. Rank 8 Immortal Goo mutation activated again. This time, the Green Claw Ghost Winged Lion's right eye mutated, it turned into a venomous bee. The bee did not fly away, it raised its venomous stinger and stabbed into the Green Claw Ghost Winged Lion's eye socket, before piercing into its brain. Howl! The Green Claw Ghost Winged Lion screamed desperately, causing huge sound waves to push away the dark clouds above it. But its torture had not ended. Soon, under the might of rank 8 Immortal Goo mutation, its claws and teeth grew rapidly, into ancient desolate plants. The Green Claw Ghost Winged Lion moved its wings rapidly and rushed down, trying to escape. But dancer Hong Yun did not let it go, she brought 1,000 transformations will along with her. Eventually, the green claw ghost winged lion crashed into the desert, creating a huge dust cloud several tens of feet in height. When the dust settled, the mangled green claw ghost winged lion was motionless on the desert, it was dead. Go clean up the battlefield. 1,000 transformations will informed as it went back into dancer Hong Yun's body along with the immortal Gu. Dancer Hong Yun's eyes shone, she almost pounced at the green claw ghost winged lion's corpse. I'm rich. This is the corpse of an immemorial desolate beast. Rank 8 immortal materials are rare even in treasure yellow heaven, it can refine rank 8 immortal Gu. Dancer Hong Yun started to process the corpse with difficulty. Even though she was a rank 7 expert, faced with the corpse of an immemorial desolate beast, she could not dissect it easily. After a lot of effort, dancer Hong Yun managed to dissect half of it. It is a pity that the mutated portions of the green claw ghost winged lion cannot be used, they have no value. When she tore open the green claw ghost winged lion's stomach, dancer Hong Yun unexpectedly found Han Li. Han Li had already fainted, he was barely alive. Why is there a mortal Gu master here? Dancer Hong Yun found it strange, she laughed, should I call you lucky or unlucky? You met an immemorial desolate beast, but it was the green claw ghost winged lion that devoured souls, because you have a physical body, you survived until now inside its stomach. If this was a normal immemorial desolate beast, you would have turned into meat paste already. Dancer Hong Yun stretched her arm out and soul searched Han Li. It was strange that a mortal Gu master appeared here out of nowhere. Dancer Hong Yun was curious and wanted to know information about Han Li. This fellow is called Han Li. Even though he has no background, his luck is really good. This is Zhen Yuanzi's formation path true inheritance. Suddenly, dancer Hong Yun's pupils expanded, her eyes shined brightly as her breathing became rough. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know to report chapter so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1414, True Inheritance Changes Owners. Chapter 1414, True Inheritance Changes Owners. Translator. Atlas Studios. Editor. Atlas Studios. Dancer Hong Yun primarily cultivated Cloud Path, but because of Spectral Soul Demon Venerable, soul-searching methods became easy to learn, almost every Gu immortal knew them. Right now, as she soul-searched Han Li, she learned about his experiences, and also his time inside the Gu formation. Interesting. Dancer Hong Yun grabbed Han Li and went beneath the desert, quickly arriving at the underground cave. The cave was nearly collapsed, but dancer Hong Yun found that a small Gu formation was at a corner of the cave. She arrived in front of it, a path opened to the Gu formation, the formation spirit was inside, saying, Master. The formation spirit was calling for Han Li, of course. What a formidable formation spirit. The Gu formation had broken apart earlier, but it managed to assemble it again, this must be the work of the formation spirit. Dancer Hong Yun was moved. This way, Zhen Yuanzi's true inheritance is also intact. This immortal opportunity is mine. Dancer Hong Yun was extremely happy as she laughed. Bright light shone across her eyes, carrying Han Li, she said, Little fellow, I saved your life, in return, you will hand this true inheritance over to me completely. Han Li opened his eyes, all right. You heard him, formation spirit, your master has given everything to me. Dancer Hong Yun turned around and said to the formation spirit. This. The formation spirit was hesitant. What? You want to defy your master's orders? Dancer Hong Yun frowned slightly. The formation spirit was silent. Dancer Hong Yun sneered, Formation spirit, your original owner was Zhen Yuanzi, he created the true inheritance to pass it down to future individuals, now that Han Li has met the requirements to become your new master, are you going to go against that? Of course not. The formation spirit said without hesitation. Then will you listen to your new master Han Li's words? Dancer Hong Yun asked. I will. The formation spirit said without hesitation again. In that case, Hanli is giving you to me to repay my act of gratitude, will you resist? Dancer Hong Yun pressured. The formation spirit was silent for a while, it felt that something was amiss, but it did not know what. In the end, it sighed as it said, no denying it, you are my new master. Ha ha ha, that is it, submit to me without any resistance. Saying this, Dancer Hong Yun injected her immortal essence. The formation spirit did not resist, it was refined easily by the immortal essence. It was the core of this Gu formation, it could manipulate the formation in place of the Gu immortal, as long as there was enough immortal essence storage. The formation spirit submitted to Dancer Hong Yun, the other Gu worms also went along with it, the immortal Gu formation quickly changed owners. Dancer Hong Yun received several immortal Gu, a large number of mortal Gu, as well as Jin Yuan Zi's complete formation path true inheritance from the formation spirit. The immortal formation was completely open to Dancer Hong Yun without any concealment now. Dancer Hong Yun laughed loudly, she did not go in immediately, instead, she waved at Hanli. Guh. With a soft sound, Hanli turned into a pile of flesh, he was completely dead, even his soul was decimated. It turned out that Hanli did not actually wake up, Dancer Hong Yun used her immortal level methods to instill her will and manipulate Hanli, having him agree to hand over the true inheritance to her. It was very difficult to take immortal Gu. But Hanli was immortal, while Dancer Hong Yun was a Gu immortal. The difference between immortal and mortal was too big, Dancer Hong Yun completely suppressed him with her strength, he could not resist at all. Of course, if a mortal truly owned an immortal Gu, it would not be easy for the Gu immortal to take their immortal Gu. If they were not careful, the mortal will destroy the immortal Gu with them, there would be nothing to gain. Dancer Hong Yun's situation was very special. Even though Hanli passed the test and became the true inheritance's inheritor, because of the green claw ghost-winged lion, he did not refine the formation spirit or any of the other Gu worms. Thus, the Gu worms left by Jin Yuan Zi were still filled with Jin Yuan Zi's will. This was a loophole that Dancer Hong Yun made use of. There was another special reason, it was the formation spirit. Formation spirit Immortal Gu was a unique creation of Jin Yuan Zi, he replicated land spirits and heavenly spirits, to create a formation spirit for the Gu immortal, to assist in manipulating it. Formation spirit Immortal Gu was a one-time consumable Gu worm, the immortal Gu would vanish after using it once, instead, a formation spirit would be born. In the future, if a Gu immortal wanted to use formation spirit Immortal Gu again, they would need to refine a new one. The formation spirit had a certain level of intelligence, it was similar to land spirits and heavenly spirits, it could not lie, it was quite artless. This gave Dancer Hong Yun the chance to lie and deceive it, attempting to convince it. If there was no formation spirit and only a bunch of Gu worms, they could not talk to Dancer Hong Yun, she could not convince them. But all in all, Dancer Hong Yun inherited Jin Yuan Zi's formation path true inheritance. Jin Yuan Zi was a Gu immortal from the Super Force Che clan, to think that as a righteous path member, he actually left his true inheritance here instead of giving it to his clan. Thousand transformations will sighed, it seems that the rumors were true, Jin Yuan Zi was not on good terms with the clan, he was pushed aside by their Gu immortals. This was all thanks to you, husband, that we could obtain this fortuitous encounter. Dancer Hong Yun smiled. After we save Chui Bo, and return to Myriad Statue Desert, you will hand the true inheritance over to my main body. Don't worry, you will get your benefits. Thousand transformations will said plainly. Dancer Hong Yun's felt some loss, she knew that if the true inheritance was handed over, the essence of it would be taken by Thousand Transformations' ancestor, it was uncertain how much would be left to her. But she had to give it to him. Throughout the process, Thousand Transformations was with her, watching everything. Dancer Hong Yun had good strength, but against a rank 8 existence, she had no strength to resist. But in the first place, if I was alone, would not have taken this risk. We could encounter Jin Yuan Zi's true inheritance because of husband's will. Thinking of this, Dancer Hong Yun's mind became more peaceful. She inspected her gains, there were 3 immortal Gu, 2 were formation path immortal Gu. Even though it was just a few, they were all rank 7. And the formation spirit was considered half an immortal Gu. If not for the fact that this Gu formation broke apart once, dancer Hong Yun would have even greater gains. After changing her location, dancer Hong Yun internally cursed at Han Li for being trash, a mere mortal who dared to try getting a Gu immortal true inheritance. He truly deserved death. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report chapter so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 14-15, Fixed Luck. Chapter 14-15, Fixed Luck. Translator. Atlas Studios. Editor. Atlas Studios. Master, you cannot dismantle the Gu formation. Once this Gu formation is destroyed, I will also be destroyed. At this time, the formation spirit said to dancer Hong Yun. Dancer Hong Yun nodded. This formation spirit was really useful. When the Gu formation collapsed earlier, without anybody controlling it, it should have just broken apart entirely. But because of the formation spirit, a portion of the Gu formation was salvaged and made into a smaller incomplete formation. It managed to last until now. Just like how land spirits could fix their blessed lands when they had holes, formation spirits could do the same. Dancer Hong Yun was not going to give up such a useful formation spirit. The formation spirit said again, thankfully, there is a formation flag Gu in the Gu formation. Master should first use formation flag Gu, keep this Gu formation in formation flag Gu, before placing it into your immortal aperture. Back then, since Shen Yuan Zi created formation spirit immortal Gu, he naturally understood its limitations, thus, he created formation flag Gu to supplement it. Earlier, when the Gu formation collapsed, the formation spirit first salvaged formation flag immortal Gu, thus, dancer Hong Yun only needed to learn to control it now. Some days later. The night sky was filled with bright stars. The air was cold, there was fog. In western desert, on a very ordinary sand dune, the light on Fang Yuan slowly faded. Eventually, all of his aura was concealed as the light turned into tiny specks that got drowned in the darkness of the night. Fang Yuan let out a breath of air and suddenly opened his eyes. I wonder what is the final effect of this immortal killer move, Fixed Luck. These last days, while Fang Yuan was escaping, he had been using this immortal killer move from time to time. He obtained Fixed Luck from Ma Hongyun. Fang Yuan found Fixed Luck from Ma Hongyun's soul. Of course, it meant that the killer move, Fixed Luck, was a part of all living beings' luck from Giant Sun Immortal Venerable's true inheritance. Fixed Luck was very suitable for Fang Yuan. Its effect was to make one's luck unwavering and not easily influenced. All along, Fang Yuan had been afraid of the weakness of Connect Luck. After all, back then when he used Connect Luck on Han Li, Hong Yi, and Yi Fan, it was because they had strong luck. But things changed. After obtaining dog shit luck, Fang Yuan's luck was superior to them. This meant that Fang Yuan had to split his good luck to Han Li and the others. This was detrimental to him. Especially when using burning soul bursting luck, the luck he gained would not fully benefit him, a portion would be split to the rest of them. In the past, Fang Yuan did not have a choice, but after killing Ma Hongyun, he had a method now. Fixed Luck was the solution. The core of this killer move was Stubborn Immortal Gu, and Rule Path Immortal Gu Main. But after Fang Yuan's modification, this killer move used Precaution Immortal Gu and Rule Path Immortal Gu Big instead. Fang Yuan had Precaution Immortal Gu long ago, while Big Immortal Gu was obtained from Purple Mountain True Monarch. Purple Mountain True Monarch was a mini-man Gu immortal. After using Big Immortal Gu, his body would expand and he would become a human Gu immortal. However, Fang Yuan's luck path attainment was not at Grandmaster level, the modification of the move only succeeded partially. This killer move still had some flaws. When activating it, even if Fang Yuan made no mistakes, there was still a chance of failure. That was to say, this killer move, Fixed Luck, was not reliable upon activation. Fang Yuan knew the weakness, but because of his low attainment level, he could not fix it or modify it properly. In the past, Fang Yuan had been desiring Break Luck Immortal Gu, but now, even though he did not have Break Luck Immortal Gu, he had Fixed Luck, he could defend his own interests. Fixed luck's effect could not be seen physically, he was unsure of the effect. But according to the content of all living beings' luck, Fang Yuan knew, when two people had a close relationship, their luck would be joined together. If two people were on the same side, their luck would unify, they would rise together or go down together. This was what it meant to enjoy fortune and endure misfortune together. However, through Giant Sun Immortal Venerable's research, he found that even if luck was unified, there were subtle profound differences. Even though fortune could be shared, and misfortune could be endured together, some people would get more fortune and suffer less misfortune. Why? Giant Sun Immortal Venerable realized that the person with greater luck between these two would gain more benefits, the one with weaker luck would suffer more hardship, and even bring great benefits to the other person when they gain benefits themselves. Giant Sun Immortal Venerable named this relationship as the main luck and sub-luck, creating their respective luck path Immortal Gu. However, Fang Yuan did not have main luck Immortal Gu and sub-luck Immortal Gu now. Even without them, Fang Yuan could fix his own luck and create differences between his own luck and others, becoming the main luck. After resting for a while, Fang Yuan put fixed luck behind him as he went back to modifying the killer move, self-cleansing. In terms of formation path, Fang Yuan was much more confident. After all, he was a formation path grandmaster. With his advantage, his progress in this aspect was rapid. Thus, turning the entire self-cleansing killer move into a Gu formation was only a few steps away from finishing. Success was around the corner, but Fang Yuan's worry was that he lacked the crucial formation path Immortal Gu. Xianxia sect's formation plate Immortal Gu could be borrowed, but it was only rank 6. Meanwhile, the self-cleansing immortal formation was at rank 7. Using rank 6 formation plate Gu for a rank 7 immortal formation, the chances of failure were high. There was another point, the formation plate Gu recorded the sub-main teleportation Gu formation of Xianxia sect. If Fang Yuan wanted to use it to make the self-cleansing formation, he would need to erase the content of the sub-main teleportation Gu formation. Next, he would need to set up the formation using formation plate Gu. After one success, formation plate Gu would have the ability to set up the self-cleansing formation itself. This was a problem. Fang Yuan had negotiated with Xianxia land spirit before. The sub-main teleportation formation was too important to Xianxia land spirit and Xianxia sect, it affected their development. Xianxia sect had no formation path Gu immortals, the teleportation formations were created relying on this formation plate Immortal Gu. If Fang Yuan wanted to erase the information in formation plate Immortal Gu and put in new details, it would mean that Xianxia sect would lose the ability to set up the sub-main teleportation Gu formation. This was unacceptable to Xianxia land spirit. They did not have information path methods to extract the information recorded in formation plate Gu. Simply looking at the process of formation plate Gu setting up the Immortal Gu formation could not explain all of its profundities. There were many hidden details like instilling immortal essence, or the cooperation of Gu worms. Fang Yuan had to reassure Xianxia land spirit that as a formation path grandmaster, he could recreate the sub-main teleportation formation. Xianxia land spirit was hesitating now. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report chapter so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 14:16, Hongyun's Pursuit. Chapter 14:16, Hongyun's Pursuit. Translator, Atlas Studios. Editor, Atlas Studios. Fang Yuan was helpless. He could not force Xianxia land spirit to do anything. Right now, he was stuck here. Even if he wanted to continue deducing the self-cleansing formation, without the crucial Immortal Gu, it would not work. And most importantly, I need to borrow Xianxia sect strength to refine Gu. Fang Yuan obtained Purple Mountain True Monarch's inheritance. He lacked many Immortal Gu, he had a bunch of plans for what Immortal Gu to refine next. If Xianxia land spirit thought about it for a long time and still rejected him, what would he do? Fang Yuan had considered this problem. He always did things by considering the worst possible outcome first. If Xianxia land spirit refuses to lend formation plate Immortal Gu, I will need to use other people's immortal apertures. Fang Yuan had a lot of Dao marks. It was hard to get into the immortal apertures of the other shadow sect Gu immortals. Unless they placed their immortal aperture to form a blessed land with deep foundation, then it would be possible. After Fang Yuan entered another immortal aperture, he could use time path methods to expand the tributary of the river of time and increase the rate of time inside. That way, one day in the outside world would be half a month inside the immortal aperture. This would allow him to obtain a huge amount of precious time to work with. Next, he would set up the self-cleansing immortal Gu formation in the blessed land, and Fang Yuan would enter it to cleanse his detrimental Dao marks. This was the plan that Fang Yuan would use if he had no alternatives left. Because its flaw was equally big. After placing the immortal aperture, the position would be fixed. By then, it would be dangerous if Feng Jiu Ge pursued them. Did Feng Jiu Ge have any method to break into an immortal aperture? It was possible. Even if Feng Jiu Ge did not, he was backed by Spirit Affinity House and Heavenly Court, they would not let him have this limitation. There was another important point: once the time path method was used, the tributary of the river of time would change. And this modification could not be adjusted against for a period of time. For example, if Fang Yuan made the time in He Lu Land's immortal aperture accelerate, for a few months, he would not be able to change the tributary size again. Inside He Fan's time path true inheritance, be it days pass like years or months pass like years, they had this problem when trying to modify the tributary of the river of time to affect the rate of time. Because these killer moves were one-time activation moves with lasting effects. If one tries to influence the tributary of the river of time consecutively over a short period, time path Dao marks would be disrupted, the tributary would be in disastrous turmoil. Fang Yuan already knew the time of arrival for the Gu immortals' calamities and tribulations. After calculating, he realized that if he used this method, one of them would need to undergo their immortal aperture's tribulation. This was troublesome. All along, Heaven's Will has been trying to find ways of killing Fang Yuan. Even though Fang Yuan could choose other people's immortal apertures, Heaven's Will could see everything, and everyone that is linked to Fang Yuan. During the tribulation, Heaven's Will would definitely use all its power to kill the Gu immortal undergoing tribulation. Fang Yuan and the rest could collaborate to deal with the calamities and tribulations. But Heavenly Court had pursuers. Looking at the time and their speed, placing the immortal aperture would not be able to get rid of the investigative killer move at once. That way, Fang Yuan would need to endure an immortal aperture's tribulation and face the assault of Heavenly Court's Gu immortals together. It was too risky. If Fang Yuan used his sovereign immortal aperture for it, it would be even more dangerous. Fang Yuan had another concern. Last time, only Feng Jiu Ge came. I wonder how many Heavenly Court Gu immortals would show up next time. Thus, during this period, Fang Yuan had been moving around, not giving these Heavenly Court Gu immortals a chance to encircle him. Western Desert was so huge, while Heavenly Court had to enter another region to fight, with Fang Yuan and the others using omnidirectional travel, it was very difficult to find and kill him. When time was up, several figures flew towards him in the sky. They were Bai Ningbing, He Lu Lan and the others. Usually, when Fang Yuan cultivated or made deductions, they would spread out and guard the surroundings for him. Fang Yuan, when will that immortal Gu formation be completed? How long must we continue to run around? At this moment, Bai Ningbing flew down, frowning as she asked impatiently. Fang Yuan did not need to look around, he could feel that the rest of the Gu immortals had looked towards him because of the questions. Wait a bit more. Fang Yuan said plainly. Bai Ningbing snorted coldly, her expression was of displeasure. She was the most impatient person among them, this type of lifestyle was not exciting, she felt extremely bored. Aren't you able to create that immortal Gu formation? Set up another one and kill all of the Heavenly Court pursuers again. Bai Ningbing suggested. Fang Yuan shook his head. Do you think the immortal Gu formation is easy to set up? We need a tributary of the river of time. The immortal Gu formation used to harm Feng Jiu Ge earlier came from He Fan's true inheritance. He Fan created this formation to defend against immemorial year beasts. Because the use of years flow like water, immortal Gu would attract immemorial year beasts that would enter the Gu immortal's immortal aperture through the tributary of the river of time. He Fan used this immortal Gu formation on the tributary, so that when an immemorial year beast entered and the Gu immortal could not deal with it, they could detonate the formation and destroy the tributary of the river of time, forcing that immemorial year beast back into the river. Of course, this method was a trump card that could only be used when there were no other options. With the destruction of the tributary of the river of time, the immortal aperture's time would freeze. It would be extremely difficult to draw in another tributary. They would need one from the outside world. I have the same feelings as you. I do not like being hunted down. But I would rather accumulate the hatred in my heart, to wait for a proper time to counterattack and deal a fatal blow to those people. Isn't that what you want, the excitement of the future? Humph. Bai Ningbing stopped speaking. Alright, let's move. This place is not safe anymore. Fang Yuan had just said that when the expressions of Bai Ningbing and the others changed. In the sky, a red cloud descended. Dancer Hong Yun was on it. Her face was pink and rosy, her gaze was on Fang Yuan and Gang who were near the sand dune. Concubine Chui, who are these people? Why are you with them? Dancer Hong Yun asked in a reprimanding tone. Concubine Chui was naturally Fairy Chui Bo. Hong Yun. Wu Xia was surprised, before showing an appropriate joyful expression, asking, why are you here? The red cloud descended slowly, as Dancer Hong Yun observed this, Fairy Chui Bo. Wu Xia was currently using the body of Fairy Chui Bo, which he had possessed with his soul. There were naturally flaws now. After all, his soul was not completely compatible with the body. If it were an ordinary Gu immortal possession, Dancer Hong Yun would be able to see the flaws, but this was Wu Xie she was looking at. Who was Wu Xie? He was a split soul of spectral soul demon venerable. His soul foundation was many times that of Fang Yuan. Spectral soul demon venerable was the creator of Soul Path. He had countless split souls with many identities. They lurked in the 5 regions and created a force, without showing any flaws. Wu Xia naturally had ways to conceal his possession method. As expected, after Dancer Hong Yun used her investigative methods, she did not find anything amiss with Fairy Chui Bo. Her expression became warmer. You were in huge trouble, your life tablet Gu and soul lantern Gu were affected, thus, I came to help you. But it seems that you are in good shape, husband and I were worried for nothing. Next, Dancer Hong Yun asked again, who are they? They seem familiar. Dancer Hong Yun's gaze turned to Fang Yuan. Suddenly, her expression changed, she was shocked, Lu Guanyi. Dancer Hong Yun was backed by 1,000 transformations ancestor, her intel was far wider than normal Gu immortals. After the Battle of Reverse Flow River, Lu Guanyi's appearance was known to the world. As time passed, more and more Gu immortals knew about him. And Lu Guanyi's appearance was the original appearance of Fang Yuan in his sovereign immortal body. This time, Dancer Hong Yun came very abruptly. Fang Yuan did not manage to change his appearance. That is me, how should I address you? After being exposed, Fang Yuan asked coldly and calmly. Dancer Hong Yun did not answer yet, she first rode the red cloud and moved back by a distance. Facing Lu Guanyi, she had a heavy expression, feeling great pressure in her heart. This was someone who could fight with rank 8 existences. Some time ago, his name became renowned in the world, gaining the same status as Feng Jiu Ge. Thankfully, I have husband's will and his rank 8 immortal Gu, otherwise. Dancer Hong Yun felt relieved while her eyes darted around as she said, Concubine Chui, despite husbands and my concern, you mixed with Gu immortals from other regions and worse, you did not even send us a letter. Dancer Hong Yun had her own objective, she was saying this to sow discord between 1,000 Transformations Ancestor and Fairy Chui Bo. 1,000 Transformations Ancestor doted on Fairy Chui Bo normally. Dancer Hong Yun was very jealous, she would not give up this chance to attack Fairy Chui Bo. Her words were addressed to Wu Xia, but it was meant for 1,000 Transformations will. Fang Yuan's gaze became solemn, while Bai Ningbing and He Lu Lan subtly looked at each other. Dancer Hong Yun's words were simply disregarding Lu Guanyi. She had this level of confidence, she was definitely relying on more than just her battle strength. Fang Yuan, Bai Ningbing, He Lulan understood this, but Ing Wuxie, Fairy Miao Yin, and Lady White Rabbit did not realize this. Alright, tell us your encounter, Concubine Chui, I am very curious. At this time, 1,000 transformations will emerge from Dancer Hong Yun's body. There was a trump card indeed. Ing Wuxie thought. This is the crucial moment, let's see how Ing Wuxie gets through this. Bright light shined in Fang Yuan's eyes. Bai Ningbing and the rest were slightly worried. Ing Wuxie had grown quickly, but he was still young, his acting was inferior to Fang Yuan, it would be quite hard for 1,000 transformations will to not sense a flaw in his acting. Could he do it? If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report chapter so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 14-17, Cooperating with 1,000 Transformations. Chapter 14-17, Cooperating with 1,000 Transformations. Translator, Atlas Studios Editor, Atlas Studios. This was basically what happened. As mild wind blew across the sand dune, Fairy Chui Bo explained her side of the story. According to her, she was trying to find Western Desert Zombie Alliance's inheritance, but she met with Heavenly Court's Gu Immortals. The Heavenly Court Gu Immortals seemed to be familiar with her, knowing that she was 1,000 Transformations' ancestor's concubine. Even though Fairy Chui Bo used his name as deterrence, their animosity grew deeper. In the process of fighting, Fairy Chui Bo was hit by the Heavenly Court Gu Immortals' killer moves, most of her Gu worms were destroyed. Fortunately, she met with Lu Guanyi and the others. It turned out that Heavenly Court was chasing after Lu Guanyi. The enemy of an enemy is a friend, Lu Guanyi thus saved Fairy Chui Bo and fought to escape from Heavenly Court's pursuit. But because they were hit by Heavenly Court's investigative killer move, during this period, they had been escaping. They could not split up as the enemy would just attack them separately. All in all, Ing Wuxie described it with great detail, and some of his words almost could make others feel they personally experienced the situation. The truth was, ever since Fang Yuan and the rest captured Fairy Chui Bo, they had excavated most of the information about 1,000 Transformations' ancestor from her soul. Fang Yuan and the others came up with many plans to deal with all the possible situations. Ing Wuxie's description was a mix of truths and lies. Fang Yuan and the others turned from enemies to benefactors, while Feng Jiu Ge also appeared. His description was very realistic and did not have much tampering in it. The story was flawless, because Fang Yuan and the others had thought about it intensely. The only problem was, Fairy Chui Bo had lost all of her immortal Gu and a large portion of her mortal Gu in battle. This was too coincidental. But there was no choice. If 1,000 Transformations wanted Ing Wuxie to show his immortal Gu, that would be a disaster. After all, the Gu worms that Fairy Chui Bo had were filled with her will, Ing Wuxie could not use them. The truth was, when Fairy Chui Bo got captured by Bai Ningbing, she had already detonated all of her Gu worms, leaving no resources to the enemy. Thus, Fang Yuan and the rest had to say this to make up for the huge flaw. Dancer Hong Yun had a shocked expression on her face. She looked at Fairy Chui Bo, not expecting her to have met with such incredible danger. And the truth was, Bai Ningbing, He Lulan and the others were very surprised. Because Ing Wuxie's acting was excellent, he showed no flaws, it was natural and believable. When did Ing Wuxie acquire such a skill? He Lulan was slightly surprised. Only Fang Yuan was not surprised at Ing Wuxie's performance. Because he had already lent attitude Gu to Ing Wuxie. With this rank 8 immortal Gu, Ing Wuxie's acting was naturally flawless. Especially when he was up against a rank 7 Gu immortal and the will of a rank 8. If 1,000 Transformations' ancestor was here personally, it might be a problem, but Ing Wuxie could completely handle these two right now. Success. Be it Dancer Hong Yun or 1,000 Transformations' will, they did not doubt Ing Wuxie's words. Fang Yuan saw this and said, Lord 1,000 Transformations and Fairy Hong Yun, Heavenly Court's Gu Immortals came after us, but Fairy Chui Bo was saved by us, that is the truth, right? He spoke plainly with no expression, he showed the arrogance of an expert, even against a rank 8 existence, he displayed no fear. Fang Yuan did not have attitude Gu, but his acting was profound and skillful, he could easily do it. He was the cause of Fairy Cui Bo's death, but he ended up acting like her benefactor. This was shameless, but Fang Yuan acted like it was the truth. 1,000 transformations went silent. Even though Fang Yuan had rank 7 cultivation level, the fame of Lu Guanyi allowed him to speak on equal terms with 1,000 transformations will. If 1,000 transformations ancestor was here personally, Fang Yuan might not have such a status. But 1,000 transformations will and 1,000 transformations ancestor were two different things. After thinking about it, 1,000 transformations will broke the silence. How do you want to be rewarded? Fang Yuan's lips curled up, he smiled. His smile was bright like the sun, he was truly handsome, even dancer Hong Yun was dazed as she looked at him. I do not need a reward, but I have a suggestion. Fang Yuan said. What is it? Alliance. Fang Yuan said. Alliance? 1,000 transformations went silent again. Fang Yuan urged, 1,000 transformations ancestor, you obtained reckless savage demon venerable's true inheritance, you are an eyesore to heavenly court. Their attitude towards you is clear from their attack on Fairy Cui Bo. Because of reverse flow river, I was chased by heavenly court until I got here. We have a common enemy, that is heavenly court. Helping each other is helping ourselves, isn't that true? I have a good time path method in my possession, I can slow down the rate of time in Lord 1,000 transformations immortal aperture, to delay your tribulations. Furthermore, I have a luck path true inheritance. Ma Hongyun died in my hands, I have his portion of all living beings' luck. This is Giant Sun Immortal Venerable's true inheritance. Husband. Dancer Hongyun was greatly moved by Fang Yuan's glib tongue. Lord Husband, I think that we can make an alliance. Ing Wu Xie said, trying to convince 1,000 transformations will as well. Eventually, 1,000 transformations will spoke, but this was what he said. We can have an alliance. But our cooperation must be gradual. Lu Guanyi, you want to make use of me to deal with the heavenly court Gu immortals, why would I not know your plan? We can cooperate mildly first, before we deepen it slowly. If our cooperation goes well, I can go and block the heavenly court Gu immortals for you. If our cooperation is less than satisfactory, I will need to see your sincerity before we continue working together. 1,000 transformations ancestor was a rank 8 Gu immortal, he was not easy to deceive. He was an old schemer, not only did he expose Fang Yuan's plan, he even used the pressure of heavenly court to force Fang Yuan to relinquish some benefits. Sincerity. Fang Yuan smiled, sincerity goes both ways, we saved Fairy Cui Bo, that is our biggest sincerity. What is yours? Fang Yuan avoided the topic of heavenly court, and retaliated against 1,000 transformations will. 1,000 transformations will thought for a while, we can cooperate first, like making transactions, what do you need, I will try to satisfy you. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know report chapter so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 14:18, Trap Succeeds. Chapter 14:18, Trap Succeeds. Translator. Atlas Studios. Editor. Atlas Studios. Transactions. Fang Yuan raised his eyebrows. He instantly understood the intention of 1,000 transformations will. 1,000 transformations ancestor obtained reckless savage's true inheritance, after so many years of development, he definitely had the foundation to transact with Fang Yuan, even though he had great losses in his recent tribulation. But because of the tribulation, 1,000 transformations ancestor did not want to fight. If he agreed to ally with Fang Yuan, he would need to face heavenly court's Gu immortals. 1,000 transformations ancestor was not stupid, how could he become the shield of Fang Yuan and the others now? But Fang Yuan's suggestion was extremely tempting. Be it the time-slowing methods in He Fan's true inheritance, or his luck path true inheritance, they were rare ways to alleviate his problem of impending tribulations. 1,000 transformations ancestor had just suffered a terrible loss from his tribulation, he had a huge need for such methods. Thinking about it, 1,000 transformations will felt that working with Lu Guanyi was beneficial. But this benefit would become a huge problem in the future when Lu Guanyi faces Heavenly Court, and 1,000 transformations ancestor did not want to be a part of that problem. He was heavily injured now. If he engages in fierce fight, he would expose his currently weakened state. Thus, 1,000 transformations ancestor wanted to transact with Fang Yuan. It was another form of cooperation. This way, he would fund Fang Yuan and the others. Not only will he repay the favor of saving Fairy Cui Bo, he would even improve his relationship with Fang Yuan. There were clear benefits in this. Firstly, his concubine was saved by him. He had to reward him for it. Otherwise, who would help to save 1,000 transformations ancestors' friends or family in the future? Secondly, after improving his relationship with Fang Yuan, in the future, if he needs help, he can use this incident as a reason. Rank 8 Gu immortals were all old schemers. Even if this was just 1,000 transformations will, he had great wisdom and calculated his own gains and losses clearly. Fang Yuan was silent for a while before nodding. Okay, I need formation path immortal Gu now, do you have any? Actually, Fang Yuan bore little hope in this. But dancer Hong Yun was stunned. 1,000 transformations will smiled. This is very coincidental. I do not cultivate formation path, so I did not have any. But on the way here, we obtained a Gu immortal true inheritance. It was left by a formation path expert. Oh. Hong Yun, take out your gains and let Lu Guanyi choose. 1,000 transformations will informed. He was clear about Jin Yuanzi's formation path true inheritance. The formation path immortal Gu was useless to the main body. It was perfect for this purpose. Dancer Hong Yun would not defy 1,000 transformations will. Even though she was upset, she did not hesitate. She took out that incomplete immortal formation from her immortal aperture and placed it on the sand dune. Fang Yuan and the others were shocked. This immortal formation could actually be moved. This was very rare. Because this was the framework of an immortal Gu house. Immortal Gu houses were the essence of formation path. They were immortal killer moves and also mobile immortal Gu formations. Fang Yuan's heart jumped. Seeing this, he felt like something good was about to happen. Indeed, from dancer Hong Yun's description, Fang Yuan learned that this incomplete immortal formation actually contained formation flag immortal Gu. Rank 7 immortal Gu formation flag. This was one of the immortal Gu that Fang Yuan needed. Amazing! With this Gu, I will not need to negotiate with Langya land spirit, or borrow formation plate immortal Gu. It will be very convenient to set up the self-cleansing immortal Gu formation. In time, all of the investigative killer move Dao marks will be cleansed. At this moment, Fang Yuan saw hope in the future. But he was still very calm on the surface. He only exposed a bit of joy. He looked at 1,000 transformations will as he said, this incomplete immortal Gu formation is not bad. To speak the truth, I need such a Gu formation to defend against the pursuit of Heavenly Court's Gu immortals, and gain a safe location to rest. I am willing to pay a huge amount of immortal materials in exchange for this incomplete immortal formation. What? Dancer Hong Yun's expression changed. Lu Guanyi is so greedy, he wants the entire immortal Gu formation. Next, Fang Yuan thought about it and gave a list of immortal materials to 1,000 transformations ancestor. Lord 1,000 transformations, there are only a few immortal materials in my list, but that cannot be helped. This is all I can give, and I really need this immortal formation. If this transaction goes through, I will remember this forever. In the future, if you have any needs, I will do my best to help. Fang Yuan spoke earnestly. Dancer Hong Yun also took a look at this list. She was so furious, on the edge of exploding. She looked towards Fang Yuan with deep animosity. She was very unhappy. This Lu Guanyi is too shameless. He actually said such things. But 1,000 transformations will agreed after some consideration. Alright, I will accept the immortal materials. You can have the incomplete Gu formation. We have no debt to each other. You're saved Fairy Cui Bo, and I did this transaction with you. This is our connection. After some pause, 1,000 transformations will continued. Lu Guanyi, even though you are a junior, I have heard of your name long ago. You will definitely be extraordinary. There is no harm in befriending you. This is my information path Gu Worm. If you want to make any deals in the future, contact me directly. Goodbye. Lord Thousand Transformations is truly magnanimous, I am in awe. This is my information path Gu Worm, I hope you will keep it. Fang Yuan changed his tone, not only was his expression sincere looking, he even gave his information path Gu Worm. Concubine Chui, let's go. Thousand Transformations will said. Ingwu Xie looked at Fang Yuan deeply as he smiled at the rest, thank you for the concern these last few days. See you again. They departed. Fairy Chui Bo sat on the dancing red cloud and soon flew into the sky. When dancer Hong Yun and the rest left Fang Yuan's vision, he retracted his gaze with deep battle intent in his eyes. Ingwu Xie has already sent back the information, they are returning through the same path, their destination is Myriad Statue Desert. Come, let's execute our plan. Fang Yuan said. Lady White Rabbit went into Fang Yuan's immortal aperture as He Lu Lan, Fang Yuan, Bai Ning Bing, and Fairy Miao Yin remained behind. Ancient Battle Formation, Omnidirectional Travel. With a sharp light, at the next moment, Fang Yuan and the rest appeared in Green Ghost Desert. Fang Yuan started to set up his formation while Fairy Miao Yin and Lady White Rabbit helped him out. He Lu Lan was patrolling the area, preventing wild soul beasts from causing trouble. Bai Ning Bing flew into the sky, in the blink of an eye, she went out of Fang Yuan's vision, she was going after Dancer Hong Yun. Dancer Hong Yun returned on the same route, but Fang Yuan and the others had used omnidirectional travel, they were already ahead of her. An immortal formation from Purple Mountain True Monarch's inheritance was rapidly set up. Fang Yuan moved proficiently while Fairy Miao Yin and Lady White Rabbit cooperated with him with great chemistry. This immortal formation had been used multiple times already. Ingwu Xie could not be discarded. Not only because of his strong battle strength due to the killer move, lead soul into dream, but also because of sixth hair. If Ingwu Xie died, sixth hair would not work with Fang Yuan this closely. He might even think that Fang Yuan tried to get Ingwu Xie killed, and would disregard his own safety to try and get Fang Yuan killed at all costs. Meanwhile, Fang Yuan needed sixth hair to refine Gu for him. And there was another thing, the mental state of his allies. If Fang Yuan gave up on Ingwu Xie now, he would also give up on Lady White Rabbit and Fairy Miao Yin in the future. Even if they showed no response to it externally, they would definitely be full of doubts and suspicion in their hearts. Fairy Miao Yin and Lady White Rabbit were not like He Lu Lan. Fang Yuan did not have strong control over them. Using omnidirectional travel to ambush Thousand Transformations Will and Dancer Hong Yun, luring them into the immortal formation to kill them, that was the plan. Of course, this plan was based around Ingwu Xie getting the trust of Thousand Transformations' ancestor first. Other than this plan, Fang Yuan had many other plans to deal with other situations. The more prepared he was, the greater the chances of winning. Be it Fang Yuan, He Lu Lan, or Ingwu Xie, they were not going to fight unprepared. However, when Fang Yuan finished 60% of this immortal formation, Bai Ning Bing transmitted, no need to set up, Ingwu Xie has already succeeded. Fang Yuan and the rest stopped setting up the formation as they got to Bai Ning Bing's side. Over there, in the sky, there was a huge dream realm floating in the air. Haha, Ingwu Xie did very well this time. Bai Ning Bing laughed, he took down Thousand Transformations Will and that rank 7 Gu immortal, Dancer Hong Yun, without fighting, incredible, exciting. Fang Yuan also smiled lightly. This was a scheme. They had planned it long ago. Be it Thousand Transformations' ancestor or anyone else, as long as they gained their trust, this plan would work. The method used was not lead soul into dream. This killer move could not conceal its aura, once activated, it would be found out immediately. Pure dream reality seeker physique bodies were the best tools for a sneak attack. Back then, Fang Yuan used the immortal bodies to force the immortal Gu House of Southern Borders clan to escape. One skill to dominate the world. Even rank 9 immortal Gu House Heaven Overseeing Tower did not dare to enter the dream realms. When everyone's research of Dream Path was still at the initial stage, using Dream Path methods against enemies was unstoppable. Because being at the forefront of this era had huge advantages. Even Thousand Transformations' ancestor's main body would have no answer to it, not to mention his mere will. Going back to 2 hours ago. On the dancing red cloud, Fairy Chui Bo suddenly started laughing. It seems that concubine Chui got some benefits, otherwise, you would not laugh like this. 1,000 transformations will said. Husband understands me best. Even though I lost my immortal Gu, my gains were huge. Husband, Hong Yun, look at this. Ing Wu Xie took out a pure dream reality seeker physique body. This is, dream path. 1,000 transformations will was shocked, concubine Chui, where did you get this? Heavenly Court is mainly pursuing Lu Guan Yi for this immortal body, it seems. I obtained this by chance, Lu Guan Yi and the others have no idea. Ing Wu Xie said coquettishly, Lord Husband, I made such a huge contribution, how will you reward me? Dancer Hong Yun scolded, shameless slut. 1,000 transformations will laugh loudly, I really need to reward you well. Boom. The pure dream reality seeker physique body exploded at once. All of them were engulfed by the newly created dream realm, none flew out or escaped. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know to report chapter so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1419, Pure Dream Reality Seeker achieves success. Chapter 1419, Pure Dream Reality Seeker achieves success. Translator. Atlas Studios. Editor. Atlas Studios. Alright, saving Wu Xie first, hey Lu Lan, it will depend on you. Fang Yuan instructed as he opened his immortal aperture's entrance. Hey Lu Lan nodded, her soul came out of her body and entered Fang Yuan's immortal aperture. Meanwhile, her body floated in the air, unmoving. Soon, a pure dream reality seeker physique body flew out. It was He Lu Lan. He Lu Lan flew into the dream realm and quickly pulled Ing Wu Xie out after a while. Ing Wu Xie was still dreaming, he had not woken up yet. This pure dream reality seeker physique body self-detonated, Ing Wu Xie was at the very center, he suffered the greatest impact from the explosion. Thus, even though his body escaped the dream realm, his soul was still trapped inside the dream. It was like he had been hit by lead soul into dream, or during the time of He Lu Lan's dream path tribulation. At this moment, Fang Yuan's unravel dream killer move was very useful. He could not use it earlier because 1,000 transformations will and dancer Hong Yun were trapped here. If he used unravel dream, these two would escape. Without the dream realm, they would wake up rapidly. If he wanted to unravel a portion of the dream realm, Fang Yuan could not control it so meticulously yet. All in all, there were huge risks in this. Fang Yuan had the pure dream reality seeker physique bodies, he naturally chose to use this superior method. The pure dream reality seeker physique was created by Old Man Yen Shi. It contained dream path Dao marks. Old Man Yen Shi wanted to create the 11th extreme physique, he succeeded to an extent, but not fully, because the pure dream reality seeker physique had a huge flaw, it was limited by time, once time was up, it would detonate into a dream realm. However, the pure dream reality seeker physique had its unique advantages. The greatest advantage was that the body could enter and exit dream realms at ease, the soul was protected and would not be lost inside dream realms. Back then, during the Battle of the Dream Realm, He Lu Lan, Bai Ning Bing, and the rest had escaped into the immortal apertures of the pure dream reality seeker physique bodies, before entering dream realms to escape from danger. After the crisis was over, they came out safely. Fang Yuan saw this clearly back then, it left a deep impression in him. Now, Fang Yuan was reenacting the same scene. After using Unravel Dream, Ing Wu Xie woke up but his soul suffered some injuries. Fang Yuan used Daoist Gu to heal all of his soul's injuries, he went back to perfect condition. Now was the important part. If he did it well, not only would Fang Yuan capture Dancer Hong Yun, he would even obtain that rank 8 immortal Gu. Dancer Hong Yun, 1,000 transformations will, rank 8 immortal Gu, out of these three, the easiest one to deal with was Dancer Hong Yun. She was only a rank 7 Gu immortal, even if she was dragged out now, she would be like Ing Wu Xie earlier, deep inside her dream. At this time, Wu Xie just needs to use lead soul into dream to seal the deal. Dancer Hong Yun was fish on the chopping block, she was not a concern. The things to consider were 1,000 transformations will and that rank 8 immortal Gu. Wills were expended in the dream realm. But different from the soul, the reason why wills got weaker was because they had to think in the dream realm. Any will would shrink as they thought about things. The more things they thought about, the faster the will is depleted. But the moment the will leaves the dream realm, they would recover, unlike souls. Thus, if 1,000 transformations will was not fully depleted, if He Lu Lan got it out, it would use the rank 8 immortal Gu on Fang Yuan and the others. By then, Fang Yuan and the others would face the attack of a rank 8 immortal Gu. And more terrifyingly, Fang Yuan and the others did not know what this rank 8 immortal Gu could do, he could not defend against it. There was nothing to prepare against it. Thus, they had to wait until 1,000 transformations will was depleted before dragging Dancer Hong Yun out, that would be the best situation. However, the use of immortal killer moves of other paths would not affect the dream realm at all. Even if He Lu Lan found Dancer Hong Yun, who was trapped in the dream realm, she could not check if 1,000 transformations will was fully depleted yet. On the other hand, lead soul into dream had no effect on 1,000 transformations will. 1,000 transformations will was just a will, lead soul into dream had to be used on targets with a soul. Thus, the crux of this plan was time. If he waited 3 to 5 years, this will of 1,000 transformations would definitely be depleted. But by then, 1,000 transformations ancestor would have arrived. Thus, for Fang Yuan and the others, not to mention years, they could be in grave danger if they stayed for 3 days. Because Fang Yuan and the rest were constantly being pursued, Heaven's Will was planning to encircle and trap them, the longer they stayed here, the greater the danger. Thus, Fang Yuan's plan was to wait for a day, that was the limit. A day later, He Lu Lan would bring Dancer Hong Yun out of the dream realm and he would use his investigative methods to see if 1,000 transformations will was still around. There were risks of course. Thus, Fang Yuan and the rest were hiding far away, only He Lu Lan was around. If they succeeded, Fang Yuan would gain a new rank 8 immortal Gu. The risks were taken up by others, while the benefits were his own. This was what Fang Yuan was doing. My only concern is that Heavenly Court or 1,000 transformations might come here during this period. Fang Yuan thought to himself as Fairy Miao Yin's expression changed. Feng Jiu Ge is here, he is rapidly moving towards us. Fairy Miao Yin alerted. He actually escaped from the river of time. Lady White Rabbit called out in dismay. At this particular timing, He Lu Lan gritted her teeth. Bai Ningbing had a cold gaze. If we had known this, we would have set up that immortal Gu formation earlier, Feng Jiu Ge would get to taste its power. Forget it. Fang Yuan was decisive, Feng Jiu Ge is backed by Heavenly Court, it is not strange that he escaped from the river of time. We will leave now, this can stay here, after all, even if Heavenly Court's Duke Long comes here, they cannot do anything to the dream realm. Ancient battle formation, omnidirectional travel. The immortals immediately teleported away with Fang Yuan at the lead. So resolute. Feng Jiu Ge arrived to see nobody, he smiled as he praised. Next, his gaze landed on the dream realm. This is a dream realm. Without need for him to report, the current situation was seen by Heavenly Court's Fairy Zi Wei. Why is there a dream realm here? What is the reason? I am afraid that this is not simple, we need to investigate it. As she thought about it, Fairy Zi Wei transmitted to Feng Jiu Ge, telling him about the location of Fang Yuan and the rest. Feng Jiu Ge immediately chased after them with rapid speed. Fang Yuan and the rest quickly felt the pressure. When they used omnidirectional travel, they realized that Feng Jiu Ge would chase them quickly. Feng Jiu Ge is getting faster, what immortal killer move is he using? With Heavenly Court's help, what is impossible? The important thing now is, other than Feng Jiu Ge, who else is coming? Both sides chased and ran for half a day, while they were in a desert, Fang Yuan and the others frowned deeply. Omnidirectional travel could not be used endlessly, it expended the Gu immortals' own Dao marks. If this continued, without fighting Feng Jiu Ge, their battle strength would fall drastically. But fighting Feng Jiu Ge was too risky. Not just his battle strength, but also the fact that there might be others. If there was a rank 8 Gu immortal, Fang Yuan and the rest would have a low chance of winning. Feng Jiu Ge is only rank 7, Heavenly Court's rank 8s cannot enter his immortal aperture. As for Heavenly Court's rank 8 phantom apertures, they cannot contain living things. Furthermore, we have teleported to so many places, after such a distance, even if someone was behind Feng Jiu Ge, they would be left in the dust already. Bai Ningbing said. She wanted to fight. Fang Yuan nodded, I think so too, let's wait for him here. If we do not beat him, he will catch up eventually. Bai Ningbing was stunned, she started to look around vigilantly. She understood Fang Yuan, since he wanted to fight Feng Jiu Ge, and since there was not enough time to set up an immortal Gu formation, the location he chose to fight in would be a special one. However, before Bai Ningbing noticed anything, the music of an ancient zither was heard. Next, following some light ripples, a golden door appeared. From within the door, Feng Jiu Ge walked out, facing Fang Yuan and the others again. Everyone, we meet again. Feng Jiu Ge smiled as he greeted. Bai Ningbing was expressionless, while He Lulan, Miao Yin, and White Rabbit were solemn. A person's reputation provides shelter like the shadow of a tree. The mental pressure that Feng Jiu Ge imposed on them was huge. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know report chapter so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1420, Shadow Sect Fights Feng Jiu Ge. Chapter 1420, Shadow Sect Fights Feng Jiu Ge. Translator. Atlas Studios. Editor. Atlas Studios. Feng Jiu Ge wore a red and white robe, he was extremely handsome, while looking at Shadow Sect's immortals, he smiled warmly with great flair and elegance. He showed no battle intent or killing intent, but Shadow Sect felt great pressure from him. Feng Jiu Ge. Fang Yuan walked out and muttered. He was graceful and elegant, his robe was white as snow, his face was pure as jade, his eyes were dark and unfathomably deep. Seeing this, Lady White Rabbit's heart jumped, she thought, the two strongest people under rank 8 in the current world are finally going to fight. Speaking of which, even though Fang Yuan and Feng Jiu Ge had not interacted for a long time, the interactions between them were quite deep and long-lasting. Years ago, Fang Yuan snatched to immortal blessed land and took away Feng Jin Huang's fortuitous encounter, he became noticed by Feng Jiu Ge as a result. But at that time, Feng Jiu Ge was a great rank 7 Gu immortal, an established expert who had high fame. But Fang Yuan was just a mortal, he was like an ant, even if he was quite impressive, that was nothing much. Who could have thought that after a few years, not only did Fang Yuan become a Gu immortal, he was even the owner of Spring-Autumn Cicada and destroyed 88 True Yang building, he joined the Battle of Tian Mountain, Reverse Flow River, and the Southern Border Dream Realm. Right now, he was extremely famous and was pursued by Heavenly Court, his reputation was on par with Feng Jiu Ge. Fang Yuan saved Feng Jiu Ge, and Feng Jiu Ge saved him in return, their debts to each other had all been settled already. Right now, these two were fighting for their respective factions using their true strength. Feng Jiu Ge, you chased us all the way to this place, did you know that you are handing your life over to me? Fang Yuan snickered, he shot out like lightning, pouncing at Feng Jiu Ge. Saying so, a robe and sash appeared around his body, his black hair swayed in the air as his eyes shone like lightning, he rapidly engaged in this climactic battle. Immortal Killer Move, Reverse Flow Protection Seal. Feng Jiu Ge's gaze was fixed on him. He had already seen the power of this world-famous killer move before. He could guess that Reverse Flow Protection Seal was very complex and hard to activate, it needed a lot of time to set up. If he sneak attacked, Fang Yuan would not have time to use this move, the battle would be in his favor. But unfortunately, Fang Yuan did not give Feng Jiu Ge this opportunity. And because Shadow Sect had superb investigative killer moves, Feng Jiu Ge could not find a chance to attack. Seeing Fang Yuan's assault, Feng Jiu Ge broke into a wide smile. He spoke openly, I could teleport here because of my self-created immortal killer move, Yang Pass Tune. And more importantly, my Yang Pass Tune has not ended yet. As he said that, he burst out in golden light. The golden light had no offensive power, but the light flickered and vanished rapidly, along with Feng Jiu Ge himself. What? At almost the same time, Fang Yuan could hear the tune of an ancient zither getting louder. The sound became loud and soft at times, it was as if the person playing it was moving around him. Fang Yuan's heart shook, he suddenly remembered that this was Feng Jiu Ge's movement method that had displayed great power during the 5 regions chaotic war. It allowed Feng Jiu Ge to turn into formless sound waves and move around before turning back into human again. Sound path was not a mainstream path, and because this move was extremely unique to itself, normal methods could not restrict Feng Jiu Ge's movement. Be careful. He Lu Lan alerted. They had also heard the tune of the ancient zither, they all retreated subconsciously. But their speed was slower than Yang Pass tune, they did not know Feng Jiu Ge's exact location, they could only retreat towards a random direction. Lady White Rabbit suddenly heard an explosion of zither music as Feng Jiu Ge formed towards the right of her instantly. Clang! Feng Jiu Ge had a curious gaze as he pointed at Lady White Rabbit, as sounds of clashing weapons could be heard. Lady White Rabbit screamed in a shrill voice, at this instant, she felt an intense threat of death. She rapidly retreated. But the sharp sound waves stabbed into her chest. At the next moment, blood spewed as black fog appeared from Lady White Rabbit's body. Within the black fog, Black Tigress appeared, she flew into the sky while atop a lizard. Rank 6 Lady White Rabbit was not Feng Jiu Ge's match. At the crucial moment, her other self, Black Tigress, appeared to save their life. Even so, Black Tigress was heavily injured, she quickly escaped and tried to heal herself. Feng Jiu Ge did not pursue her. He knew that his sneak attack had not succeeded, he had lost his initiative, now that everyone was alert, it would not be as effective anymore. And most importantly, Feng Jiu Ge frowned as he looked at the desert below, this is Anti-Sound Desert, the place where you die. Saying so, Fang Yuan pounced at him again. So that's it. Feng Jiu Ge realized, at the next moment, he turned into sound waves as Yang Pass tune allowed him to dodge again. However, Feng Jiu Ge, who reappeared elsewhere had an ugly expression. His smile had faded mostly, there was seriousness in his gaze. Western Desert's Anti-Sound Desert had the same fame as Southern Border's Silent Hill. They were famous in the world, and were extremely unfavorable for Sound Path Gu immortals. Because at these two places, Sound Path Dao marks were extremely suppressed, all Sound Path killer moves were greatly weakened. Earlier, Feng Jiu Ge wanted to teleport behind Lady White Rabbit to kill her. But in the end, he was exposed when he got 100 steps near her. This allowed Lady White Rabbit to escape from her fatal danger. Anti-Sound Desert, in the past, this special area was stolen by thieving heaven demon Venerable. To think that it ended up here. How did Fang Yuan know? I almost forgot that he is the new leader of Shadow Sect, it is natural that he knows some secrets. Feng Jiu Ge guessed. He had guessed wrongly, Shadow Sect did not know about this place. Fang Yuan knew because in the 500 years of his previous life, during the 5 regions chaotic war, this place was exposed and made use of. Feng Jiu Ge's expression suddenly changed as he looked at his arms. He did not know when it started, but there was a thick layer of frost on his arms and back. That dragon lady by Ning Bing. Feng Jiu Ge looked at Bai Ning Bing with an admiring gaze. Immortal killer move, cold eyes. This was Bai Ning Bing's method. Even though Feng Jiu Ge moved quickly, Cold Eyes' killer move was even faster, he just had to be in Bai Ning Bing's field of vision, it was nearly instantaneous. Feng Jiu Ge laughed heartily as he stretched out his palm, touching the frost. Instantly, the sound of bells rang as the frost melted. Bai Ning Bing snorted as the light in her dragon eyes intensified. Troublesome. Feng Jiu Ge frowned slightly, he used Yang Pass tune to teleport away. But at the next moment, when he reappeared, not only was he met with Bai Ning Bing's cold eyes, he was even attacked by Fairy Miao Yin's curved moon. Immortal Killer Move, Curved Moon. Fairy Miao Yin's eyes have 2 curved moons in them. Similar to Cold Eyes, this was a sight-based attack. It was extremely quick to activate. Feng Jiu Ge was hit and his body shook. Fairy Miao Yin was shocked. She was confident in Curved Moon's power, but it only made Feng Jiu Ge's body shake. Feng Jiu Ge's foundation in defense was extremely deep. Back then, even against Wu Yong's battlefield Immortal Killer Move, he lasted such a long time. This Curved Moon Killer Move was nothing much. Chirp chirp. Suddenly, the chirping of birds could be heard. A group of fire birds flew towards Feng Jiu Ge. Bam 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 bam. At the next moment, the fire birds self-detonated and exploded loudly, but they soon turned silent. Because this was anti-sound desert. The explosions engulfed Feng Jiu Ge. The heat caused powerful currents to push out towards the surroundings. At once, red light shone on the faces of Fang Yuan and the others. The temperature of the place went up rapidly. He Lu Lan stood far away, battle intent surging in her eyes. This was the Immortal Killer Move that she used, Angry Bird. Feng Jiu Ge reappeared at a distance. He was unharmed. The exploded angry birds did not affect him. Fang Yuan charged towards him while the other Shadow Sect Immortals attacked from all directions. Feng Jiu Ge laughed soundlessly. Enough dodging, take this. Immortal Killer Move, Heaven and Earth Song. At once, the world sang. Music entered the ears of the immortals, their bodies shook, they felt like the sky was tall and the earth was wide, they felt themselves becoming more insignificant and minuscule, they felt like ants, they felt like dust. The feeling of being small and lowly emerged in them. Compared to heaven and earth, they were such insects, what could they possibly amount to? This was the might of Heaven and Earth Song. Not only were Gu immortals affected, even their immortal killer moves were influenced. While suppressed by Heaven and Earth Song, they would become weaker as they dissipate after a few breaths of time. This move was one of Feng Jiu Ge's signature killer moves. Back then during the Battle of Luopa Valley, Qin Baisheng and his group suffered from it. Now, it was time for Fang Yuan and the rest to face it. He Lu Lan and the rest did not feel good, but Fang Yuan was relentlessly moving forward. Reverse Flow Protection Seal was unmoved, only some ripples appeared on the surface. Not just that, it even reflected a portion of Heaven and Earth Song's power back to Feng Jiu Ge. Feng Jiu Ge tasted the power of his killer move for the first time. Seeing Fang Yuan, who approached brazenly, he frowned as he used Yang Pass Tune to teleport again. Reverse Flow Protection Seal rendered Heavenly Court, Longevity Heaven, and Purple Mountain True Monarch without options. Wu Yong was also unable to get past it, not to mention Feng Jiu Ge. Feng Jiu Ge felt a headache seeing Fang Yuan. He had finally understood how Wu Yong felt. Forget about Fang Yuan, I should get rid of his subordinates first. Feng Jiu Ge did not want to fight with Fang Yuan, he placed his target on the rest. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report chapter so we can fix it as soon as possible.